Don't stand too close to the light, because all I'll see is a skeleton.
No, I have to be careful near the drains and that in case I fall down.
Sorry, your question?
We mentioned before, because this time last year we were talking about you just spent a lot of time on the Wirral filming Puppy Love and that. But stick up your hands. Who watched Puppy Love? We have a few people. Well, for those of you who haven't seen it, we've got a couple of clips, so if Mike wants to run the VT.
Have you any takers for the K9 first aid class?
Oh yeah, I'm doing a load of business there. I've told them it's mandatory in Belgium.
You could give them a certificate.
Hey, that's a good idea. People pay anything for a piece of paper. Oh, Tone, a bit awkward this, but I ran into John Prudder on Field Lane.
Oh, you could have gone for the cottage loaf.
Oh, I had to offer him something. 25 quid towards the arrears. At least Erin's getting fed. What's this Craig sent, eh? First aid kits.
That vet's given the debt to a collection agency.
What am I meant to do with them?
You know the time has come, Fee, to pawn me wedding ring.
Oh, I am pleased to hear that, Tony. It's been 5 years since that decree, Nicey. It's not healthy to cling to the past. Hand it over. I'll take it into Milton's tomorrow.
I can offer you £1 a month against the money's owed. Well, that's all we have. Okay. I'll send them in again.
No change?
I'll put the kettle on. Tea, toast, butter and eggs, look. There you go, love.
What's that smell?
Burning plastic?
Did you clean the microwave out before you put the eggs in?
No.
Get out, Tony!
But I'm caravan bound.
Pull up your back passage and get out now!
Gasman's having a lie down.
John! Get out! We're on fire! Tony, you stupid, brave, bloody fool!
Yeah, that gets a round of applause. Action star Simon Bishop Becker doing his own stunts there.
I'm very pleased you chose those two clips, because they were most of our improv scenes. So
Really?
cool. It was a wonderful experience. First of all, I did an episode of a series called Getting On. Getting On?
Yeah.
They needed a bariatric patient. And the casting director is a Doctor Who fan, so he just called me in, and that was it. So whatever I did on Getting On, they really liked, because then Joe and Vicky Pemberton called me and said that we're doing Puppy Love, and offered me totally, exactly. So that was an example of nepotism, but then Sue Tully was the director, and every morning.
I was going to mention this to you.
But every morning they would greet me, "Morning, darling." Mwah, mwah. We were thinking, and that came to, because there had to be a lot of rewrites, you see, and so, do you think we could improv this? Could we do that? So I just went along with everything they did, and they kept a few of the scenes, and that's one of the scenes.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, explain the concept. What was the show about?
Right, it's called Puppy Love because my wife, played by Jo Scanlon, runs a doggy training centre, hence Puppy Love. So that's the reason for the title. But it's really a social comment.
Yeah.
Two families of different sides of the tracks have to get together because my grandson conjoins with Vicky Pepperdine's daughter, which brings fourth issue, and so we have to learn to live together. So it's a social comment, really, but focusing on the weird nature of pet owners and dogs in particular. And it was very interesting. The time constraints were very tight, and we had to work with dogs. So the way they did it was we filmed each scene without the dogs, and then we filmed it again with the dogs. And the rule was, whatever the dogs do, go with it. So you just have to know something. So that's the basic story.
Yeah,
and they wrote my character around my my mobility issues. So Tony is agoraphobic and lives in this fixed caravan. That's so. But now he's escaped, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It would be.
But I'm very grateful to them because it was one of the best jobs I've done since Doctor Who, and it was such fun. And it meant I got to live in Hoylake for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
During the Gulf. and I survived. So
Yeah, but shot a lot of it, literally, meters from where we're currently sat, West Kirby Boating Lake and what have you. Not that you saw much of that because you were in the caravan.
Yeah, but it did highlight Hoylake.
Definitely.
And the Wirral as well. So
Yeah, and quite a few other people, Doctor Who alums, showed up in it as well. Because what was it? Sinatra Sarkar, she did Dinosaurs on Spaceship. Tobias Menzies, Cold War, and Kayvan Novak.
Yes.
Because he's the voice of Andals.
Yes.
So was it the same casting director? No, because
it wasn't.
Not necessarily a Doctor Who fan this time.
Well, I don't know who. No, there was no casting director this time. No, this is very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And the casting was done by the BBC themselves and the production team. And I have to admit, it was a bit of an eye opener because in my quieter moments, I tend to work in my agent's office, so I can see things from an agent's point of view as well as an actor's point of view. And I do know what it's like trying to deal with casting directors. But in this case, they just sat around and said, now who do we think we could use here? And there was one case, there was, can I tell you? Yes, I can tell you. Sanjeev Bashkar was going to be originally Mr. Patel.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we filmed, the way it worked, they did what was called a non-broadcast pilot, which we filmed the year before. And for the BBC had commissioned 5 pilots, from which they chose 2 to go to series. And then the non-broadcast pilot became episode 1. So then by the time it came around, because it was a whole year, by the time it came around to filming the entire series, then Sanjeev wasn't available. So they had to recast, so that's how we got Gordon Walecki.
Yeah.
And it literally was that evening, I was up here ready to start on the Monday.
Yeah.
And we were having dinner, and they were going, what are we going to do? Who could it be? Blah, blah, blah. They sort of sat around thinking of all sorts of names. And it was, as it happens, it was Joe's husband who just said, oh, what's his name? The young Indian chap in My Beautiful Laundrette. Is he still doing it? And that was it. And then somebody else around the table, oh yes, I know him, I'll give him a call. And by chance, a project he was doing had just come to an end, so it all fitted in.
All worked.
But, so in the 5-week period in which we were to 1 week per episode to film, which is very tight, they then also had to fit in redoing scenes for episode 1.
Yeah, of course.
But so it was a very interesting exercise all around, really, really good fun, but quite tiring because, as you can imagine, the dogs didn't read the script.
Reminded me a lot of Bread, because it's got the whole Merseyside thing and the whole tweaking the system and money and what have you.
I think it highlighted what certain families have to go through without being too patronising. Yeah. I think it really works.
Lovely little gentle comedy. It's not too on the nose, and it's a shame that they're apparently not going to be doing any more.
Oh, I BBC, you never believe anything they leak.
Anything they leak. But no, if you get a chance, I'm sure BBC 4 will end up re-showing it at some point.
I doubt it will be BBC 4.
Mm.
Yeah, but there'll be a re-showing somewhere.
It'll show up somewhere on a UK Gold or whatever they call it these days, and what have you. But going, let's step back a bit. So, where did it all start? Mike, you've got a few pictures for us. Can you throw the first? Yeah, I gave you a PowerPoint. No, and Simon. Yeah, I did. Oh, all right then. All right. I'll show you it later.
Imagine if you were.
Okay. But anyway,
There's a photograph up there,
Okay.
and I'm supposed to now try and think what the photograph is.
yeah, don't worry about
I
it.
can come up with a story.
When did it all start?
Let's pretend it was a photograph of me playing Mr. Bumble.
Mr. Bumble.
Well, also, I had no aspirations. Knowingly, I wanted to be a professional actor, and I was a musician at school. And one summer, the head of music came to me and said, "The music department and the drama department are going to get together, and we're going to do a production of Oliver, and you, my little fat friend," because political correctness hadn't got in, are going to be Mr. Bumble. Now, two things. Firstly, I've never actually acted before, and secondly, I'm not a tenor. And Bumble is written for a high tenor because it was written for Harry Seacombe originally.
Ah.
So there was a lot of tight underwear involved. But once I got into the rehearsals and things, I found not only did I enjoy it, but I found some things came to me quite naturally. So that's when I got the bug. So I need to just give a little nod to Ron Moody, who died this week, because I watched the film over and over again, just to give me some ideas. And I think Ron Moody was brilliant and had his Oscar stolen from him, in my view, as Fagin. But so it was doing that production at school that I got the bug, and it was then I thought I really would like to do this seriously and properly. But then I'd go and watch plays, and I'd go and watch films, and I'd see people like Laurence Olivier, I'm talking names that people probably will have to Google now. Peggy Ashcroft, Flora Robson, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Has found it now.
Yeah, it's just that nobody else can see it.
For those with bionic eyes.
You didn't name the file very well, that's why.
Yeah. SFP. SFP. Yeah.
All right, not where the whole thing. There you go.
I got it. There we go.
So I was, because I was quite intimidated at school, I just didn't think I was as good as them, and I couldn't possibly do it. But I fell into the civil service, and then the civil service said they didn't want me. They gave me a bag of money to go, which nowadays is called redundancy. And so at that time, I used the redundancy money to go through a postgraduate course for drama.
Right.
And I met Denham Elliott, who was very positive. He told me that people wouldn't take me seriously until I was about 40. And he was absolutely right, but he told me to stick at it. So yeah. There we go, that's how it all started.
There you go. And I suppose the other big thing that you've been known to do is, it's virtually blink and you'll miss it, but that's the fat friar.
Yeah.
From Harry Potter.
Yeah, I have two stories to say that. When I was doing Oliver at school, in the audience, one of the fathers, it turned out, was some executive of an advertising agency, and he invited me to take part in a commercial that he was filming. It was for Aquafresh toothpaste. At the time, I don't know, but he said, if you take part, it will get you your student equity card. Now, in those days, and we're talking about 1977, to be any performer professionally, you needed to be a member of Equity. And I knew that, so I just thought, oh, well, at least it'll get me my equity card, is what was my thought process. Not actually, oh, this means I can be a professional actor. So that's why I did it. And I got very exciting, and it was really exciting to do. And of course, I told everybody I was going to be in this Aquafresh TV commercial. And then they announced to me, they let me know when the first time it was going to be broadcast. I let everybody know. The commercial came out, and everything I did was not in it. It was on the cutting room floor. So I got this nickname of Aquafresh. Nobody believed a word I said. But many hundreds of years later, I was offered the role of the Fat Friar of Hufflepuff House in the Harry Potter movies, and all the ghosts were contracted for the first 4 films. And we did a lot of work. We did 5 weeks' work, well, nearly 5 weeks' work. But again, most of it was cut out.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I managed to cling on to the first movie with my fingernails. Rick Mail, he was Peeves the Poltergeist, and he's not in any of the films at all. You see, exactly. So that's it. So that was Soul Destroy. But my punchline to that story is that my name in the credits is on the screen longer than I am. and so I tell any drama students now, look, if you're offered a job, enjoy it. Turn up, know your lines, don't be a prat. And when you're paid, and I say when because it doesn't always come easily, spend it wisely. Because particularly with TV and film, you have no control as to whether you're actually going to be in it or not. It's up to the powers that be.
Absolutely.
But the irony is I've earned an awful lot from it. Because the contracts we had for Harry Potter were based on the Saga contracts in America.
Right.
Saga. Not Saga.
SAG.
SAG.
Screen Actors Guild, yeah.
No, I've got grey hair, that's why I think that's Saga. The second, so even today, I guess I got this week a royalty from Harry Potter.
Haven't taken any check. That sort of thing.
I don't take checks anymore, it goes straight to the bank.
Ah.
Yeah. I mean, but also it highlights, I have no idea how much money each time. You know, it just appears at the bank, and then I'll expect next week I'll get a Billy dude to tell me what it was for, and actually how much it was, and how much did the agent take. Yeah. But you had to rely on people. Well, at least with the BBC, they send actors every year a sheet of paper that says how much they paid you, or when they paid you, and to which agent they sent it to.
Because you may have had different agents throughout your career.
And so there is every year, there is this day where I phone people around and say, hello, do you remember me? Yes. Well, apparently the BBC paid you, you know, in one case it was £700, you know, and I don't seem to have received it. I may have. Can you let me know what the you just do that. Oh, thank you, darling. Sorry, no. We haven't had any money, blah, blah, blah. The following day, it appears in your account. Bastards.
Mysterious. We should really talk about the main reason we're here. We should really talk about Doctor Who and Dorian Maldavar, the wonderful blue chap who ends up as a head in a box.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, you looking back.
He was ahead of his time.
He was. No, come on, that's not that bad. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. No, one thing I kind of noticed looking back at the clips when we were watching, there's lots of eye acting. You're very good at conveying stuff just by a look or a.
Well, I had no choice.
Certainly when you were a head in a box, that's true. But even when you were full-bodied, as you might say.
Yeah, no, lots of people have commented on it. It's not a very conscious quality at all. It's something that happens. I mean, with the head in the box, it's very strange. I spent all the time trying to learn the lines and trying to develop a backstory in my mind about Dorian. And it didn't cross my mind until they actually put Dorian's box on the head that I actually couldn't see or hear properly because my peripheral vision had gone and I couldn't hear. It's a bit like wearing headphones, so I couldn't quite work out how much I had to project. And of course, like now, I use my arms a lot when I'm talking. I couldn't do that, and so I thought, oh, shit, it's just my face. But anyway, it seems to work, and everybody liked it. Thank you for asking me back.
Yeah, the whole head in a box thing. I think it's something we all did as a kid. Yeah, we put a cardboard box on our head and pretend it's a space helmet or something. So there's something going back to that, I think, in that kind of acting. So when and how and what did Dorian come about?
I got this call from Kim, who's my agent. She said, I've got an audition for Doctor Who tomorrow, and this was 2 o'clock. They'll send through a script for you to prepare, which came in at about 4 o'clock. And it was, in fact, the scene from the Pandora Opens. That's the scene that they said. And I was one of 7 people that had to go into a tiny room in some church in Tottenham Court Road. And it was me, a camera which was about as thin as that, and what is his name? Andy Pryor.
Yeah.
Andy Pryor, the casting director, and his assistant, and that was it. So I had to deliver it 3 ways,
Three ways.
Yeah, 3 ways.
Okay.
There was a 3-way going on.
Hey.
For those, often when you go to a casting, you are asked to do things again, and it's not because they didn't like what you did. They're really just testing that you can take direction. So a lot of actors get upset because they say, "Oh, they asked me to do it 4 or 5 times, and they didn't like what I did, and oh, the world's the end." You know, whereas reality, what it is they're just testing and showing that you can take direction. That's what it is. What was I going to say there? Yeah, so yeah, I was one of 7. I was one of 7 people. And then 3 days later, just got the call. And how I learned was that King said, "Hello, can I speak to the big blue black marketeer?" And that's what it said.
And yeah, so what was the physical process of being turned into a big blue black marketeer?
Well, it was very straightforward. In the script, it said, "Large blue man, think Sydney Green Street." So deportment-wise, I had a good idea of what Dora was supposed to look like physically. And then it came to just shaving the head. Stephen Moffat asked if I would actually have the head shaved, because he said with HD a skull cap tends to look like a skull cap. And it was only when they shaved the head, it found that the back of the head's like the dark side of the moon. So it looks as if I've got a skull cap on anyway. And then they just they put on some protection cream, barrier cream, and then they just slapped on this blue paint. Number 37.
Emulsion.
Yeah, just slapped it on.
Crikey. And you know, it's like you've never looked back. You know,
I was talking to John Levine last night. Well, John Levine was talking tonight.
no comment.
A few comments. But I mean, we were agreeing that because of Doctor Who, we get to do some really fantastic stuff. And I freely admit that since Doctor Who, professionally, I've got a lot more higher quality work, and where they just phone me up to check if I'm available, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But above all, I get to come to conventions like this and meet lovely people, and I absolutely do accept, because Stephen Moffat has told me, that the fans had a strong element in Stephen Moffat bringing Dorian back. So I have to thank the fans for my new bathroom.
Well, Dorian's very popular. It's a shame that they can't see this photo that I got here, because I actually found a Dorian cosplay.
Yes, I have met 1 or 2 cosplayers.
There's a Dorian cosplay. I think that image is actually on the official BBC website. So yes, he's very popular.
So I have, and I get to travel the world, and and again I go back to America at the end of this month. So I'm doing Florida and
all over the world.
And on the 1st of July, I've got a TV station in America who are actually going to record my one-man show.
Oh yes.
My Dalek has a puncture.
Which
Which is the first part of my autobiography, which you can order online. Fantastic Books Publishing. It's actually officially published in October. So if you get your order in before October, then you will get a signed copy from me.
Awesome.
But yes, if you go to my website, fisherbecker.info, this is where I do all the plugging, there is a link to Fantastic Books Publishing. And yeah, because his publisher came and saw the show, he loved it, and there and then after the show, he offered me a deal to actually do writing. Really strange.
Yeah. Why not?
So in the autobiography, there's a lot more than what's actually in the show.
Well, I imagine.
I've only got 90 minutes.
Yeah.
In the show, so.
Hour and a half of talking, as opposed to.
There's no problem. An hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
we've done it in 5 hours.
Yeah, I know. We've killed nearly 40 minutes without even, drawing a breath, as it were. I think, given that we're going to run out of time very shortly, I think we should open it up to the floor.
Yes.
So, as Charlie suggested, I hope everybody has been thinking of questions. And if anybody would like to put up their hand who has a question for Simon. Yes?
When they painted you blue, how much of you was painted?
How much of you was painted? Was it the full Fisher-Becker?
Very personal question.
Answer.
No, heads down to just below me tits. And then my hands and up to about halfway up my halfway up. That's all it was. And my fingernails were blue nail polish. and then they put a black eyeliner. It's very interesting. People comment about my eyes, and that they're very literal. You know, I must have done this. All it was they reacted badly to the eyeliner, so that's made them watery. But that's and emphasised the eyes, which you pick up. So, yes, how do you do eye acting? You stick a pen in your eye.
Oh, bless.
But I mean, it is extraordinary, and I do say to drama students, because drama students ask for tips. So my biggest tip is to shave your head and paint yourself blue. Because it comes along, you're an audition away from something very special happening, and now I don't get auditions, but I get really good work.
Yay!
Yes.
Steve, you had a question.
Yeah, you talked about doing some improv in Puppy Love. As Dorian in Doctor Who, particularly with Matt Smith and his very energetic performance, were there opportunities to do slight improvisation or add things in, or was it very much stick to the script?
I would say where I forgot the lines, I was in fact improvising. But no, the script was perfect. And I was talking to somebody earlier this morning. I cannot think of any dialogue that was in the script that's not in the show. So in that sense, it was very good. And it was well written. I know people go on about things, but if something is well written, for the actor they can learn the lines easily, which gives them more time then to work on things. Matt in particular was a very generous actor.
Yeah.
And he was very kind. And once we sort of got to know each other, we were very, very pally. He'd go, morning, son. How are you today? And he looked after me, the head of the lot. No, there was no improvisation as such. Only if I stretch that idea, is that there was very little direction. But that's not a criticism.
No.
Because when directors are happy that they think that an actor can do what they want, then they don't discuss it with you. So a lot of actors get very panicky. They haven't discussed the character with me. What am I supposed to do? Well, I take the view, well, if they haven't discussed it with me, I'm just going to do my own thing. And then if they don't like it, they very often come up and they'll then say, do you think we could have other options? Whatever. But no, and again, because of the tightness of schedules, if they're happy with what you did, despite the fact that what you're doing is not what they had in mind, then they'll let it go. And so in that sense, Dorian was very improvised in that there was very little. I mean, sometimes I didn't even know how many cameras were put in this, because there was no real discussion. So just go for it. And Matt has got this twinkle in his eye. I mean, what was very good was when we did the reversals, i.e. the camera was on me, Matt stayed there to deliver his lines.
That's class.
So that was really much appreciated. So yeah.
Have we got another one from the floor? From the floor? While people are thinking, one thing I remember from just us chatting last year, you like your genre stuff as much as everybody else. Yeah, you did give your geek credentials to me. Are there any shows at the moment that are airing, either over here or in the States, that you would really like to do? Is there a show you would really like to be in? Because everybody wants to be in Doctor Who. You've done that now, so where would you like to go next if you really could?
Well, I would like to be in the next franchise that's going to last for 20 years. To be honest, I like working and I don't go into any field at all. I don't think too much. I mean, there was a series, Battlestar Galactica, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have been involved with that in some sort of way. It's more now, because, Christian Lee also died this week. I think more, particularly when somebody has died, I do now think, oh, it's a shame, I would have liked to have worked with him or her. But I like working, and I'm very lucky now. And again, it's really strange, I think, thanks to Dorian, who is multifaceted, I've been able to show that I can be a little more versatile than just Billy Bunter eating buns or getting his toes stuck in a bowl. Because that was it. I mean, before Doctor Who, it was fat man stuck in bath, fat man falling off a chair, fat man can't get out of a lift, fat man pushing over a bus. You know, it was that sort of thing. But since Doctor Who,
I think I'd like to see you on something like The Flash, one of the superhero shows. They like their genre actors. I'd like
to be in a sketch show as well.
Yeah?
Of some sort, yeah. You know, so I like working, and I would like to work with whoever wants to work with me. I know that sounds very boring. And I'd like to do a really serious drama.